Hi, how are you doing? Hello, Berzelmeyer. Hello, Shahab. Okay, today I decided to start a new model, so we can start fresh, working on a brand new model. So I can show you everything from the start, from using the base mesh to the final render. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Okay, we're working on a new likeness, and I'll do my best to answer your questions while I'm working. Here's my reference. Right now I'm just trying to catch everything with eyes. I'm not gonna be super accurate at this stage. I'm just trying to have a very rough shape of the head. And I decided to work on a base mesh so we can move faster, so we don't have to worry about UV mapping, retopologizing. We're just gonna focus on likeness and modeling, texturing, hair grooming. I have a question. Do you work on any characters for game? No, I haven't worked on any game characters. But I've worked on a character for a video game cinematic trailer. I don't know if you have seen that trailer. It's a Call of Duty trailer that I worked with Platige. But the model was different from the model that was used inside the game. Yes, it's MetaHuman base mesh. I use the same base mesh for most of my works. It has a great topology, it has a great UV layout. And if you want to export it from Maya to Unreal Engine, it's super easy to do so. Okay, let's take a look at the profile view. So we can make sure that the nose has the right form. Do you trust the camera in ZBrush? I do not. Because the camera is not a real 3D camera. So if you're working on a likeness, you have to, if you want your model to be super accurate, you have to have some references inside Maya, using Maya camera system, because I mean, you can have a decent likeness done in ZBrush, but it's a little bit tricky because finding the right perspective and the right field of view is really it takes some experience. You know, it's not something that you can just pick up. How do you make the base model? You mean the base mesh? You have to retopologize. You can start from working on a sphere and retopologize your model in any software that you work with. If you work with Maya, you can retopologize using the quad pen. But here we have a base mesh which is just ready to work with. Do you use pen table or with display? No, I'm using a Wacom. It's a Wacom Intuos Pro, and I have a separate screen. I don't paint on this screen because it's more intuitive for me at least, to have a separate pen and tablet from a display. Okay, let's use the spotlight. If you have watched any of my tutorials, you know how to use a spotlight. Just import your textures and you add the reference photo to the canvas so you can sculpt on top of. Yeah, it's Paco, a Spanish guitarist. Where do you get the MetaHuman base mesh from? You can download it from Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is free and MetaHuman is also free, so you can just download from their website. The reference photo is a little bit low quality, so it's kind of hard to see the details. So I'm just trying to roughly get the proportions right. It usually takes a full likeness from modeling to texturing and hair grooming and to the final render. Usually takes 2 or maybe 3 weeks, depending on the subject that you're working on. Thank you, Julia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. What's the most valuable lesson or insight you've gained that significantly improved your workflow results? In XGen. The most valuable lesson, I would say that maybe don't try to do everything in one description. If you think a hairstyle is too complex to keep everything in in a single description, you can break it down. You can do, maybe if you're working on a ponytail, maybe you can break it down into 2 or even 3 separate description, one for the ponytail, one for the hair on top, another one maybe if there are bangs on the forehead. Because when I first learned XGen, for any hairstyle, I would just try to keep everything in one description. I don't know why. There is literally no benefit to there's no difference between having 1 or 2 or 3 different descriptions if you're working with XGen. So just keep it simple, Don't try to complicate everything. And also don't add too many guides before you have the right silhouette of your hair. Because if you add too many guides before you're even sure if the form of the hair is correct or not, it makes it really tricky to change everything. So yeah, I think the most valuable lesson would be just keeping everything simple. Do you adjust the camera to any specific value while sculpting in ZBrush? Something like 50 millimeters. It's usually between 20 to 30, depending on the reference photo. But I was just explaining to somebody else because I was saying that camera in ZBrush is not something that you can fully rely on. You have to, because ZBrush is, if you work with ZBrush, you already know this. ZBrush is a 2.5D package. It's not a fully 3D program. So you can't expect a complete 3D camera with all the specific perspectives. If you're working on a likeness, you have to make sure that all the proportions are correct, and the only way to do that is using a fully 3D software like Maya or Blender or Cinema 4D, anything you work with. How did you get better at doing likeness? Like, are there any tips for people starting out? There are many tips, but you just have to keep doing it, man. You just, from one subject to the next one. If you look at my portfolio from 3 or 4 years ago, I used to do one or even 2 portraits in 1 week. So it's not something that you can just get good at overnight. You have to spend time. You have to study different subjects. From every single subject, you learn a new trick. You basically learn from your own mistakes. So I think the best tip that I can give you is just keep doing it. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. How much time is optimal to create a full production character with head, eyes, hair, body, clothes? It really depends. It's not something that is universal for every pipeline or every workflow. For me, a 3D bust, a head, a likeness head with textures, with hair, it usually takes about 2 weeks. But a full body character might take about a month. For clothes and accessories and weapons and etc., that's a very different story, because one set of clothes might take 1 week to complete, another set of clothes might make 2 months to complete. How do you transfer that perspective to other software? Do you use the same camera value in other software? No, each software is very different. I don't use Blender. If you need tutorials for Blender, this is the wrong channel. Sorry. I use Maya, ZBrush, sometimes Cinema 4D. Is this your first stream? I heard likeness is difficult in ZBrush camera. No, this is not my first stream. This is my second stream. Yesterday was my first stream. And likeness is, it's not easy. But it's definitely not the most difficult thing in the world. But working and talking at the same time, it definitely makes it harder. Have you ever Have you ever spoke to Royalty Now? No, I don't know who that is. Do you have any specifics for lighting? You have to wait, because my goal is to finish this likeness. This is the first stream, so I'm gonna go live every day, hopefully, if everything goes right. And we can go step by step from modeling to texturing to hair grooming, and then lighting, making materials, and also lighting, which you asked. So you have to wait. Sorry. You're the best character designer. Thank you, Mima Rosana. Thank you very much. But no, I'm not the best character designer, obviously. Yeah, I hope I can make these daily streams a regular thing. I can't really give you any promises, because some days I might just get busy, but I really hope so. Do you use base mesh or sculpting from zero? Right now I'm using a base mesh. For most of my works I also use a base mesh. Rarely do I start from a cube or a sphere. I usually start with a base mesh, because it just saves time. Okay, working on the side profile to make sure we have everything in order. How do you read shapes from different reference photos? Again, it's just experience, but I mean, different focal lengths don't really change. They don't change proportions. They change the way those proportions are drawn on the canvas. So you just have to learn how to, and there are some references that are just useless. There are some super flat cameras, or on the other side, super wide cameras that are used for some magazine covers that are not really great references for likeness. I'm sculpting in ZBrush. How can I offer a job? You need to send me an email. If you go to my profile, You can find my email. How do you deal with the uncanny appearance of a likeness until you put hair on it? It's hard to tell if the likeness is correct without hair. I don't think that it's that difficult to recognize a face without hair. I mean, in some cases, it's very difficult. I mean, if the subject has beard or has a very super unique hairstyle, maybe, but in most cases, it's not really the case. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm one of your inspirations. Do you work in a company? No, I'm a freelancer. I work with companies and different studios, but I'm not fully employed. I've always been a freelancer. It's something that I enjoy. Okay, let's use a different reference. Thank you, Arib. Thank you, Amir. Thank you, Amin. Okay, I'm breaking symmetry. I usually don't break symmetry until I have the likeness, but because I want to go faster, let's make exceptions. Do you have a workshop? No, I do not have a workshop, unfortunately. The Discord link you sent yesterday is invalid. Are you sure? Because I tested it and it was working. I'm going to share my Discord link after the stream is over in a story or something. Sorry, I really tested that link yesterday and it seemed to be working. Okay, let's reposition the ears. I'm masking the ears so I can use the gizmo tool to just bring it down on both sides. The ears are also, they look bigger, so maybe we should scale them up. Okay, it looks better. Okay, let's use more references. So the ears is still looking weird. And also the double chin that we have to keep an eye on. This is a good reference. I just wish it was a little bit high resolution because the quality is not really great. Next time I should have some music on. It's just sometimes I get too focused on what I'm doing that I forget to talk. Thank you, everybody. Sorry I'm not answering to every single comment. Guys, we have 10 minutes left, so if you have any questions or any suggestions for my next stream, don't be shy. I think this is not bad for 1 hour. We still have a long way to go, but this is not too bad. It's a good start, you know. What are the specifications of this Wacom device resolution size model? It's an Intuos Pro. I don't know about resolution or anything else. You can check out the website Wacom and see if Intuos Pro is something you're looking for. And I bought this model about, I think it was 2018 or maybe 2017. I don't remember exactly, but it was a while ago. So there are probably better models out there. Will this stream be recorded and uploaded later? Yes, I'm going to save it to my YouTube channel. And you can watch it later. Will you create a skin pose in ZBrush or in Marie? I'm not sure. Probably I'm going to use texture in XYZ because texturing with hand takes so much longer. Yusuf says 2017. Okay. I wasn't sure, but probably, yeah. I think it was 2017. I'm going to switch back to the previous reference because I think, yeah, the nose is a little bit wider on the bridge. The bridge of the nose, it looks a little bit wider. So again, the perspective or the angle of view in ZBrush is usually what I work with is between 20 and 30. Usually, it really depends on the reference, but usually somewhere between 20 and 30. What do you think about AI and the effect it's going to give to the artist? I think it's a little bit late to because we only have a couple of minutes left, but it's a whole discussion. Maybe next time. But I think it's going to have both positive and negative effects. It's not something that you can dismiss or totally get in line with. It's just something that you can utilize to your advantage and make your whole workflow a little bit more efficient or faster. But it could also have some very negative effects, like making artists lazy. And if artists, or maybe someone who's just graduated and looking to make a portfolio for themselves, it's really necessary to spend a few years to get your hands dirty, learn all the fundamentals and gain some experience, because you can't just learn everything from college, from classrooms. You have to have real life experience. And so the AI tools that are available or are going to be available in the future could make this whole process obsolete. And if people don't see any incentive in spending time, modeling likenesses. For example, what I do. I mean, you might ask yourself, why should I spend 2 or 3 days working on a likeness when I can just, type a few keywords in ChatGPT or something and then have a whole 3D model exported. I mean, right now it's not, but it's not that level, but it's going to be. Maybe in a few years, maybe even in less than a year. But I think it's really important to have that real life experience, to train your eyes. It's something that you cannot replace with anything. If you don't have the eyes, if you can't differentiate a good model, a good anatomy, then you're going to be in trouble. So I would say it could be your friend and your foe at the same time. It's going to destroy the value of art. I don't know. I'm not sure. Nobody has a crystal ball, but it's definitely going to change everything. Thank you, John May. Thank you. Okay, guys, it's gonna be the end of today live stream, and I'm probably going to go live tomorrow at the same time. And yeah, if you have any questions and I didn't answer, or Instagram comments are a little bit tricky to follow because I'm broadcasting on my desktop, and the chat box is not just people who ask questions, it's also showing me the list of people who are joining. So it's a little bit tricky to read your comments. But if you have any comments for tomorrow, maybe you can send them to me, to my direct or to my email. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Bye.